Good morning. Recording a new video today. Today we're going to go over the SLS method. Reading consistently is an amazing habit, but it's nowhere near as effective as it could be. There is this very specific method that I use, and it is the single most effective method that I've used to this date, and I've been reading for over 3 years, and I'm about to share it with you. Most people don't even read consistently, and the people that do read consistently have no idea what this method is, because it's a method that I've created, and it has doubled, tripled my effectiveness in reading and comprehension. And so it is the single most effective method that I've used up to this date, and I've used a lot of different methods. This method is going to save you so much time and energy so that you can focus on the goals that are the most important to you. And it still allows you to retain incredible amounts of information. And so I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. So if you don't believe me, which I totally understand, I want you to at least try this method out and let me know how it works for you. And make sure to share those results down in the comment section. The method you will learn today is called the SES method, and this is exactly how you're going to implement it into your reading sessions. It is a 3-step method, and every single step is important and critical to using this method to its maximum effectiveness. So make sure to watch the entire video in order to reap all of the benefits. I used to read at a very slow pace, and it would actually take me a while to get through even a few pages. And although I was learning a lot, I didn't know there was a super simple and effective way to start reading at a much higher speed. This first method is super easy to implement, and it will dramatically increase your reading speed. So the first method that I'm going to share with you today is scan. So how do you do it? Everyone can actually scan text, unless you're blind, of course. It's just much harder when we don't have a clear indicator that's showing us where we are in the text. And this is an easy fix. All you need to do is get a pen or a pencil or some sort of stick, and you use that to skim read. And you put that under wherever you're reading. And numerous studies have shown that this significantly increases the speed that we read at. And if you don't believe me, try it out for yourself and see. So all that you need to do is use a pointer and scan with your eyes and move the pointer as you scan the paper. And the more and more that you do this, the better and better that you get. Have you ever read something and have had a lot of trouble explaining the concepts to a friend, even though you knew the concept inside and out, and it felt like you knew a lot about it? I remember when I would try to explain to my friends something, and it was something that made a lot of sense to me when I read it, but when I tried to explain it, I didn't really know how to. And they also wouldn't really fully grasp what I was trying to explain. Whenever we read something, we want to actually be able to explain what we've learned. And the single best way to do that is through practice. And so that brings us to the second step of this 3-step method. And that is to explain what we have read. Now, this step is pretty self-explanatory, so I'm not going to go into much detail, but this is exactly how you could do it. Basically, after you scan a certain amount of text or idea, like a page of text, write it down in your own words inside of a journal. That way, when you learn something new from a book or from reading, every time that you learn, you write it in your journal and you have a plethora of different texts and different explanations in your own words of how something works or what you've learned. And that way, you won't forget all the new things you learned because you're going to have it saved with you in that journal. Now, the last step of this method is the single most important one, because we're going to be using the first and the second step and combining them in order to create something new. I used to think that I was really good at condensing and summarizing things that I knew, but it turns out I wasn't really good at explaining things in short format. After adding this step, it helped me to take what I've learned into a short format statement or question or whatever, turn it into short formats where I can still convey the same message in a much smaller amount of text. And so now I'm able to put large amounts of text into a small, quick, easy to understand format. And this is exactly how you can do that too. So now that we've scanned the text and explained it, we now need to summarize it into our own words. We do this by not only using our explanation, but we also use the original text, and we combine those two in order to form a short, quick summary in which we can understand the main philosophies and ideas from the text in a smaller amount of text. And after you've summarized the text, write it down underneath the explanation you wrote in your journal. That way we have both the longer explanation and the shorter summary saved, so that anytime you forget about what you learned or you want to go over it again, instead of reopening the book, you have an explanation of that specific area of the book, and you also have a summary of what you've learned. Before I've used the SLS method, it took me a long time to read. To get through a book, it took months just to finish it. But after using the SLS method, I read so quickly, so efficiently, and so effectively that I can finish all of my reading blocks in less than 15 minutes. And so I also get to save the explanations and the summaries of that text inside of my journals so I wouldn't even forget it. And if I did forget it, I can just find it inside there anyway. And this allows you to retain so much more information than you normally would. Reading using the SLS method is a game changer. And if you want to learn more about developing amazing habits and effective and efficient new ways to develop habits, I have a school community in which I help men find purpose and build amazing habits to get to where they want to go. And in that community, you will get my one-on-one advice, whether you're going through problems of discipline, motivation, consistency, or anything else. My name's Justin, and remember, you deserve the consequences of your actions.